I'm just curious to know why you think so many of us are disillusioned with the way our leaders are leading at the moment.
I think there are two completely different models of leadership, whether we're talking about politics or business or the professions or community groups or whatever it might be. One is the power model. And the power model says, I've been elected or appointed the leader, so I have the power. So what I think goes. And I might consult, or I might even pretend to consult, and I might listen to what other people are saying, but actually I'm the boss, I'm in charge, I have the power, I hold the reins, and ultimately will do what I say. Now, we've seen many leaders at all three levels of government in Australia come unstuck because that's such a flawed model of leadership compared with the alternative model, which I would describe as the service model of leadership, which is where someone is elected or appointed to a position of leadership. They accept that what this means is they are there to serve the people who've given them the onerous responsibility of being the leader, not to be way out front telling us what's going to happen and what we're going to do, but to consult with us, to collaborate with us, to understand our mind, our capacities, our dreams, and then to try and synthesize them into policies or whatever form of leadership we're talking about. But the whole thing is about nurturing, encouraging, responding to the dreams of the people we lead.
Do you think kindness itself has a role to play in politics?
I think one of the real problems with politics as played in Australia at the moment is that kindness never gets a mention. We are members of a social species. That's what humans are. We're herd animals. We are hopeless in isolation. We need each other. We need herds to belong to. We need families, neighborhoods, groups, communities, workplaces, churches, clubs, societies. All sorts of groupings are fundamental to our mental and emotional health as humans because all of those groups which nurture us and sustain us give us that all-important sense of belonging, which is fundamental to our mental and emotional health. So with that bit of context, what is the greatest emotional need? What's the greatest psychological need of a person who belongs to a species like that? And the answer is the desire or the need to be taken seriously, to be heard, to be appreciated, to be understood, to be noticed, to be included. That's what we thrive on as humans. And when that desire to be taken seriously, to be heard, noticed, included, etc., is frustrated, we often behave very badly. So I think of kindness as anything we do that conveys to another person that we take them seriously, that we've heard them, that we've appreciated and understood and included them in our view of the world or in our way of thinking about the world. Not that we necessarily agree with them, not that we necessarily like them. This is one of the wonderful things about the human capacity for kindness. It's one of the things I love about the species I'm fortunate enough to be a member of, that we have this capacity to be kind, even to people we don't like. One of the things I dream of is that we will reach the point in our social evolution and the evolution of our political culture where it will be taken for granted that if an economic or social policy proposal comes before a parliament or a council or any other a group that has authority, the first question we will ask is this kind? Is this fair? And then we'll start talking about economic and other social implications of it.
There's this expectation that you have to be strong when you enter politics. And one of my questions was, is kindness perceived as a weakness?
It's a good question. We ought to underline this point, I think. We're hardwired for cooperation. We're hardwired for kindness and compassion. That's our natural state. When we depart from that, we are less human. We're less able to flourish when we depart from that. But being generous enough, sensitive enough, courageous enough to take other people's points of view into account, to treat other people kindly, especially when we don't like them much, or when we know that we don't agree with their point of view, that is the hallmark of a fully evolved human. It's the opposite of weakness. It's a great strength in humans when they are capable of demonstrating, when they're capable of being true to their essential human nature by adopting kindness as their default position, as their way of being in the world. And the point about this is, just to emphasize that it's not the soft option, it's perfectly possible for you and me to have a really robust argument, a really strong disagreement with each other, and to do it kindly. It's perfectly possible to terminate a relationship kindly. It's perfectly possible to discipline a child kindly. It's just a way of being truly human, especially in circumstances that test us. And violent disagreements, especially in the political realm, do test us. It's so much easier to resort to abuse, bullying, denigration of the other person, and so on. All of these things detract from our capacity for kindness and weaken our position. I mean, as soon as you have raised your voice, as soon as you've resorted to abuse of the other person, as soon as you've given in to feelings of anger or bitterness or absolutely unbridled competitiveness or unbridled ambition, you've lost the argument.